Let's try to master SAT math problems that include logic in a way that you can solve these problems just like a pro. So let's take a moment and read this question on the right. Make sure you take a moment and pause the video to read the problem thoroughly. And once completed, please unpause the video. Okay, now that you're done reviewing the problem, let's take a moment to see some key tricks that you can use when solving problems like this. You might have been thrown off because this type of problem is not a typical algebra problem. It doesn't give you a straightforward equation or scenario. It expects that you will interpret the question that is given. So the first thing to note is they give you two regions, A and B, and they give you a picture of a dart here. And that's important to note because that dart is there to throw you off, but you're not going to be thrown off by this dart. You're given two individuals, Sarah and Michael. And you're also told that they have two separate points. You have Sarah at 24 points and you have Michael at 22 points. It seems like Sarah seems to be winning in the dart game. However, they also tell you that the different regions, A and B, are assigned different point values. So, for example, they're assigned different points that leads them to the final score. You, as the test taker, have to figure out the rewarded points for region B. And also, you're told that Sarah collects her 24 points by collecting different points in regions A and B. And Michael, too, collects his points in the different regions in different ways as well. So, one of the things that I tell students to do once they're figuring out these problems, the big hint to tell you the type of problem this is they give you two different scenarios with two different possibilities. When they give you two different scenarios, such that they have Sarah and Michael, that also leads us to have two different points, region A and region B, or two additional scenarios, A and B. That should lead you as the interpreter to then say, oh, they want us to set up equations to help us solve. And that is what you're going to do. For the first individual, Sarah, and the second individual, Michael, I'm going to put a little abbreviation there as I'm setting up my equations. I'm going to go ahead and replace A with the letter X. The reason why I'm doing this is because in my graphing calculator, I'm going to help me to solve this problem by using the graphing calculator. And Desmos does not like to use other variables other than X and Y. And we're going to set up our equation using variables. And I want to use variables that I can plug into Desmos. So another tip or trick is out the gate, if you're setting up a system of equation, make sure to use the variables X and Y so you can easily plug it into Desmos pretty fast. Okay, so now that I changed region A to X, I'm going to do the same for B and change it to Y. So just a reminder, A is going to be now X and B is now going to be represented as Y. And I chose this problem intentionally because in system of equation word problems, they're going to throw you off with other letters, so you're not quick to utilize the Desmos calculator, and you're sort of, oh, I'm in this thought process of, oh, I'm going to go ahead and solve, but I'm going to solve in a format that's going to take longer, like plugging and chugging, or elimination, I should say, or substitution. And because we have Desmos, we can solve this a lot quicker by plugging it in. Okay, so now we have to set up our equations knowing that we have Sarah and Michael. So for Sarah, they let us know that she hit region A once. So that's going to be X. For Michael, he hit region A twice. So that's 2x. We know that we're trying to get the total points, so there's going to be an addition symbol for both of these equations. And then for the next region, which is B, which we have Y, Sarah threw twice as much. So 2B would have been previously, but then we have 2Y because we switched that over. And then for Michael, we have now region B, which is going to be letter Y because it's just once. And we have our total points, so we could set up an equal symbol. And for Sarah, it's going to be that she threw 24 points, and for Michael, he threw 22 points. Okay, the other tip that I want to point out is we want to double check what point region we're focusing on with our answer choices. In this case, we're going to focus on region B. So region B is variable Y. So if we're solving by graphing using Desmos, we're going to get a point of intersection, which is going to lead us as x comma y. Our goal is to solve for the variable y, so we're going to look at the y intersection to see where we're going to land. So let's go ahead and plug in those two equations directly. So we have x plus 2y equals 24. And for the second equation, we have 2x plus y equals 22. Okay, now we have our point of intersection, and we could just go ahead and click over it to see what the 2 points are, which is 6.667 and 8.667. We can round our answers to say that it is 6 comma 7, and or I should say 6 comma 8 because it's 6 comma 8 but a little bit more, and we want to go ahead and evaluate above because we don't have half a point, we have a full point. So you want to round it to the greatest whole number. So in this case, this would be rounded towards 7 comma 9. Because we're looking for the points of B or the Y, the answer would be 9. If you're looking for free or paid material, make sure to explore our link tree and hit that subscribe button.